working at a restaurant, and it was a black or a blue Navigator that pulled up, and I opened up the passenger door and said, "Hey, how are you doing? And how's your day?" Introduced myself, and she just came out of the car, and I guess her husband went inside the restaurant. And one of my valets came up to me and said, did you know that was Whitney Houston? And I was like, I had no idea, because she looked completely different back then. So it was Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown were at the restaurant. So about 20 minutes later, we started seeing all these cop cars showing up all over the restaurant. And we're like, what is going on? And so they all start parking in the back.
I remember this time. This is the time you called me and told me that Bobby Brown was actually in the restaurant.
Yes.
And you were making fun when the cops showed up.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they're probably Bobby Brown. I'm like, whatever. It's just... So all of a sudden, you see the cops pile up and start walking away in the restaurant. And the manager starts backing them up. No, back up, don't go in the restaurant. And apparently what happened was Whitney and Bobby were sitting down, and some people came up to them to do, get autographs or say hi. And apparently they didn't like that, which, we shouldn't bother people while they're eating. But they did come up to them. They got mad. Somebody called the cops and said that Bobby Brown was at this particular restaurant, and he had a warrant out for his arrest at the time.
And it was just publicized on the news
yes.
either the day before or that day.
Yep.
So the person recognized that.
So somebody called the cops. The cops showed up. And it wasn't probably 10 minutes later after the cops showed up, they said, hey, if you just get Bobby Brown to come out and we'll make it all, peaceful and won't cause a commotion. So sure enough, Bobby Brown comes out of the restaurant. They slapped the handcuffs on him and took him out to the cop car. And this was back when we had flip phones for cell phones, so we couldn't take pictures. So it was, unfortunately, couldn't get a good picture of that. But
I know, I'm sure that would be all over TMZ too.
Yeah, and then the next day, Alice gets a call from the manager saying, "Hey, we need like 10 valets out here."
And I'm like, 10 valets? It's usually a 3-man or 4-man shift.
Yeah.
And he's like, trust me, I need 10 valets.
Yeah, and we get there, and there was news camera people all up in the front of the yard of the restaurant. It was absolutely insane. It was like there was no other news that day except for that.
There had probably 10 or 15 news vans on the grass.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Telemundo.
Yeah, Telemundo was there.
That made me laugh.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I honestly don't recall if we got busier that night or not. I think it was pretty much the same.
I think actually it was a little bit busier that night because the restaurant all of a sudden became famous because Bobby Brown had just gotten arrested out of it. So thank you, Bobby, for that.
Yeah. Those are my stories, working valet parking. I will have to say that's probably the best job I've had in my life because you talk to all walks of life. Your valet guys, they're your family. I mean, we would be working that night, and we go out that night, and we hang out, and it was a really, really fun job. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. So.
And we definitely appreciate you being here. You were definitely a source of a lot of funny stories, such as the RDX or the RSX that got stolen.
Yep.
And Darko was yelling to you.
Yeah. So,
all these other
unfortunately, being hearing impaired, as we all know, I couldn't hear Darko yelling at me that somebody had gotten in the car and was actually stealing it at the moment. And luckily, Darko came in, and I think he punched him in the face, got him out of the car. So.
And the best story still is the Bible that you got as a tip on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. There was that one restaurant. It was Christmas Eve. I had clued everybody out. It was like 9:30. I was like, okay, good, I'm going home. And then this brand new Mercedes rolls up, family, and I said, if you want to keep your car parked here up front, you're more than welcome to. Oh no, we want a valet. And so of course I take the keys. They go in the restaurant. They're in there for a good 2 hours, and it's Christmas Eve. And they come back out, and I'm thinking, well, this better be a pretty big tip at this point. I mean, I'm sitting out here by myself for 2 hours. So I get the car started up, I get the heat going, I get everything ready to go. The family gets in the car, the guy comes around, he goes, "God bless you, thank you so much for helping me out." And he hands over a mini Bible and a calendar and says, "Have a great Christmas." I was so pissed. I was so mad. I was so mad.
I'm surprised you didn't throw it back at him.
I was being nice about it, but yeah, that was one of the worst tips I ever gotten. So.
Well, I definitely appreciate you being out and coming out to tell the stories. I know some of the other valets wanted to do so, and I thank you, and you're going to be the first one to go down in history.
Sweet.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.